So I did my master's in psychology without doing an undergraduate in psychology. So if you want to know how I found that, how I coped, and how I got through it in the end with a pass and a commendation, just keep on watching. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hello if you're new here, my name is Helen and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. I hope that you get some useful information from it and I hope you just enjoy. So I wanted to share some information with you guys about my master's degree experience. I know that when I was doing my master's I did a lot of research on the internet. I did a lot of YouTubing and Googling to see like what I was to expect when I did my course. That was also the case with my undergrad degree as well. I like to always research and see, you know, what other people were experiencing. Yeah, just try and get an overall feel for what was to come. So I thought this may be useful for you guys who are starting in September or maybe thinking of looking to do a postgraduate course. My laptop, and I'm just gonna run off some notes that I have taken down and also just share with you guys a bit of personal info about myself and where my journey is so far. So looking back, I completed my undergrad degree back in 2015, which is crazy to think about because it feels like yesterday. Yeah, so I'm 28 years old and I did my undergrad, finished it in 2015. That was a 3-year degree and I did that over in England and it was in early childhood studies. So I actually did find my undergraduate quite hard to get into at the beginning, like the feel of the course. I'd obviously never knew anything about referencing. I didn't know you know, about journals, academic reading, things like that. So do you have time before you do your undergraduate? Definitely like research the course modules, break it down into what you're going to be studying that first year and read up little bits and bobs about each module just so you kind of have a little bit of a feel for what's to come. But if you want me to do a story time on my undergraduate degree, I did get it first, so go me. Today's video I wanted to focus on mainly doing my postgraduate degree, which is my most recent. So after I did my undergrad, I then went and worked for a few years. I think it's really crucial to gain some sort of work, face-to-face practical experience before you go and apply for a postgraduate degree. I just think it gives you a lot more to talk about when if you're doing your interview. It gives you a lot more to reference back to when you're doing your personal statement because they could ask for scenarios and you have them at the top of your head because you've worked in that kind of realm of work. So my recommendation would be to try and get some sort of volunteer work or maybe go on and get a full-time job if that's the right route for you. I do know some people in my course just went straight on to do their masters. From my course, with it being early childhood, there was a lot of people wanting to be teachers and went and did the PGCE, but that wasn't for me. I didn't feel like that was the avenue I wanted to take and I knew I wanted to be more one-to-one, more therapeutic based, more well-being and mental health. Definitely the right path for me to take and currently the path that I'm on. But with my master's, it was a 1-year full-time course and I did it here in Belfast. So if there is anyone from Belfast watching this, send me a DM on Instagram, message me if you ever need any advice for applying or just kind of what to expect, you know, when you go to Queen's. Yeah, let me know. So when you're thinking of doing a master's postgraduate degree, if you're doing research or if you're going to go down the taught route, I went down the taught route, so that is more which I know you have to do a massive dissertation like at the end of your year, but with mine only being a 1-year course, I had to start mine way at the beginning and work on it throughout. So I'm going to give you guys a module rundown of what I was doing when I was on my course. I'm going to jump into the application process. The application for me was pretty straightforward. I had to write a big personal statement, which is mainly about you selling yourself, selling why you should get on the course, talking about your experiences. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you know what a personal statement is and maybe have written a few yourself. I then had to get some references, so academic references, as well as personal and character references, which were then checked out. And then got through the next stage, and within that was like an induction and joining the course, learning more about the modules. There was like an induction day going on, and then yeah, I got accepted. I really feel like it was completely different though to my undergrad experience. Like I had the best time like socially in my undergrad experience. Like I met some of my best friends there, but with this one it was a lot more focused on work. I did meet one really good friend there and she'll know who she is if she's watching this. It's a totally different vibe in my experience anyway. As well, there was also a lot of individual learning. So they'll give you like a scenario, or they'll give you a title, and then you have to run with it on your own. You have to do all the research, all the literature reading for it. You have to then create the concepts, create the ideas, and then it's very, very, very independent based. So I would strongly advise that you try and get your head around that at the beginning, that you need to focus and be determined, and you know, plan your time wisely, and you may have to give up a few things just to get the work done and make sure you're staying on top of it. But yeah, it is manageable. It did work a few days a week as well at the same time as doing my course. So I was having to balance quite a lot. It was called Psychology of Childhood Adversity, so that fit perfectly into my early childhood studies experience and also my work history. The only issue I had with starting the course was I had no psychology experience. I didn't know anything about psychology really. I had learned the basics, but I hadn't went into depth about statistics, and I hadn't went into depth about any sort of psychological theories and things. Sorry guys, my phone rang, so let's just jump back into where we were. I think I was telling you guys about the course modules and like the skills that you're going to learn. So you need to remember that every master's course is different, and normally you're going to specialize in a specific area. So like I said, I hadn't done psychology in the past before, so this was kind of all new to me. But with a lot of hard work, like, I managed to pass and got a good mark, so I got with commendation. So I graduated, I think like 2 years ago maybe now. The skills included within my master's that you focus on to learn is psychological measurement, psychometric test, laboratory equipment, specialist software. Then we went on and learned about qualitative and quantitative analysis, which was like the death of me. I don't mind the qualitative, which is mainly literature and reading and researching and writing, whereas quantitative is obviously numbers, and it's very difficult. There's a lot of formulas that they use, there's a lot of psychological ways to measure things, and a lot of software that I didn't know how to use, but I taught myself, I got on with it. And yeah, if there's any SPSS geniuses out there, hit me up. Then we went on to learn applied research, the ethical conducts of research. I think everybody will do this within their masters. I think it's pretty generic to learn, like the ethics, and whenever you're writing your dissertation, there's a massive section on ethics and ethical research. So yeah, we covered that, and that was quite a long module as well. I think if I remember rightly, it was like over 6 weeks or 8 weeks, but the majority of my modules were pretty short because it was a crash 1-year master's course, and yeah, it was pretty intense, to be honest. It was good in the end, we got there. There was also interventions, so improving outcome-based interventions and theoretical underpinnings, as well as policy and the context of policy and learning. There was then development. Mine was specifically in childhood adversity, so there was a lot of learning around the concepts of developing critical thinking. And in my course we looked after trauma and childhood, economic adversity, youth and political violence, and after children. So it was a pretty intensive course. There was a lot to it. Yeah, and looking back on it now, it's like, how did I manage to do all that in 1 year? So also within the course, there was a lot of presentations. I think I had a solo presentation and 2 group presentations as well. So I remember doing a solo presentation, and we had about a week to do it. We got given an article that we had to analyze and then give our own take on it. So we had literally had a week, and I just remember staying up so late every night trying to research, trying to write. I'm not the best public speaker, but I think pushing myself academically has actually helped me in the real world with public speaking and confidence, because you just have to get on with it, you just have to do it, and everybody does it, and really it's fine. Nobody's really paying that much attention to you when you're talking, except from your teachers. So I wouldn't really focus too much on, if presentations aren't your thing, I wouldn't like let that put you off doing those types of courses. If you're interested in working in the field of psychology, if you want to be a psychologist, the standard route is to do an undergrad, which is a 3-year course in psychology, which then gives you an accreditation, and then you can go on and do a master's, or you can work. I know a lot of people who go into psychology want to be assistant psychologists because that it was the most desired. I know they've opened it up a lot more now though. You can get experience from a wide range of different sectors now. They've opened that up a bit more. So, and then you can do a master's, which is what I did. And yeah, you can go on and do a PhD to specialise in something you're really interested in. It could be different avenues like psychosocial, of psychology, or biological sciences. You could do that. You could also go on, specialize in different therapies, so like cognitive behavioral therapy, play therapy. There's a lot of different types of therapies you could specialize in to do your PhD, or you could go on and do a doctorate. So there is a clinical psychologist doctorate route, or there's an educational psychologist doctorate route, which would be the one that I would go down, which is working in schools and helping out children, being an educational psychologist. So they are another 3 years ahead of that, so it's going to take you a really long time. I think the average is about 7 or 8 years, but then the acceptance rate to get into the postgraduate programs is very small as well in some places, so it could take up to 10 years. But if you think about it, and if you're really passionate about working as a psychologist or as a clinical psychologist, anything within that field, know that it's going to take a long time and a lot of effort and a lot of knockbacks and perseverance, and just keep building on your CV, keep building on your skills, keep up to date with all of the legislation. So me personally, I've been doing child safeguarding. I've kept that up to date. I've kept up, I did mental health first aid training, so that has been great as well. I've also done different trainings on how to be aware of different things online and how that affects an individual. Yeah, first aid training, kept that up to date. So really it's just about researching your field and kind of going down the path slowly but surely, and know you'll get there in the end. If you guys have any specific questions relating to doing a postgraduate, doing a master's, just let me know, comment down below, or send me a message directly on Instagram. I will link it here. I'm so happy to try and help you guys out. Do also let me know if you want more of these videos on like personal statements and applying, and also like working within the field of psychology with past experience, and also where I'm at currently. There is a lot of special niches that you can go down the road of psychology and yeah, really find your feet and have a really good career that you're passionate about. So thank you guys for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. It would mean a lot to me, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.